We spend a week deep in crocodile country as we shelter from strong winds and high seas in the protected waters of the Hinchinbrook Channel, surrounded by the natural beauty of this World Heritage listed conservation area. Karen stays busy in the galley and keeping the bugs out of the boat, while I go chasing mud crabs. We also check out some fish traps that date back hundreds of years to Australia's First Nations people. We're anchored in the Hinchinbrook Channel, just north of Hinchinbrook Island there. Very cute little piece of rainforest. And we've got a bit of a grey day today. We came in here to see the place, but also we knew there was some decent southeasters coming and a bit of rain. It's blowing sort of 25-30 outside with 2 to 2.5 metre swells, they tell us. So in here with mid to high teen winds, reasonably flat water. It's been quite a good anchorage actually.
Previously we've always sailed on the outside of Hinchinbrook Island and headed straight through from Orpheus to Dunk. You can see in here we're quite protected, so we've probably made the right choice, and it is a stunning area, simply beautiful.
Now I'd show you breakfast, but it's gone.
It has.
It was too damn tasty.
I think we even licked the plate. That's what you do on a weekend. That's how we know it's a weekend. We have a cooked breakfast.
Is it the weekend?
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's not. No, it is. I checked.
Ah, okay. Saturday morning breakfast.
Yep, cooked breakfast. We arrived in the gorgeous Hinchinbrook Channel with the Hinchinbrook Island and the National Park. But there's one thing about the Hinchinbrook Channel that we're not too keen on. Bugs, mosquitoes and crocodiles. All three want to eat you. So we're hoping that the crocodiles stay in the water and don't make it up on the boat. But when it comes to the mosquitoes, the bugs, the midges, all that sort of stuff, they came to the boat last night. We've got really good screens. However, we still got a few in last night, so we were concerned about how they got in. How did they get in? Well, on closer inspection, on this porthole, we have a little tear. And that little tear, we think, has happened from the preventer line. So unfortunately, it needs to be repaired. So this morning, I set about doing a new screen, and I've made 2 of them. I've just taken the frames, we've got a couple of spare frames on board always, and I've glued some netting, some screen netting to it, and then cut around it. I used to use parchment paper or baking paper, as Australians say, but I did find this morning that it actually did stick to it a bit. So the next one I used the good old silicone that I use for baking, and it was perfect. It didn't stick to it and I had no paper. So we are now going to replace this one, and hopefully no bugs for the rest of the day. So the screen just pops out like so. And this one just pops in like so. And the rubber seal, which is very important to get on correctly because that actually seals from the weather. Just making sure it's all in. There we have it. New screen. No bugs tonight. Tonight we've been invited over sundowners. It's such a treat now to be able to socialise with other cruisers. They're out and about. They have actually been isolated just like us on board, so we feel very safe in going and socialising on each other's boats. So tonight I've made a pizza for us to share. It's all really lovely to have shared plates when you go for sundowners. And so this is my Mexican inspired one.
Looks like it's using up some of your leftover salsa from last night.
It is. We hate leftovers on board, don't we? So it's always using the leftovers the best way we can. And this time it's into a pizza.
I'm sure it's going to be hit as always, my dear.
Some beautiful fresh coriander that Kate gave us in Townsville.
Smells beautiful.
From her fresh herb garden. And there we go. Pizza for 7.
Overnight the wind really picked up, and the incoming then outgoing tides alternated in holding us beam on to the swell that was incredibly making its way to our anchorage 10 nautical miles up the channel. We'd hate to think what conditions were like outside.
It has been a very rocky and rolling night here in our very protected anchorage, and it's extremely protected. The wind's up to 28 knots in here, so you certainly wouldn't want to be on the outside at the moment. But our anchorage is so uncomfortable, we're sort of turning really close to these guys. We're actually going to up anchor, and we're going to go down to one of the inlets and see if we can get some more protection. So here we are, now stern to the island, whereas we were actually side on, so we're doing that big spin, and the cat that was very close to us, as we and they spin at different times, is way over there. This is the time for us to get our anchor up. Radio check, loud and clear.
Okay, we're being held against the chain, so I'm going to get you to reverse over. Let you know when to stop.
Rob, watch the catamaran.
I'm watching the catamaran, love.
Rob did a bit of an anchor watch earlier this morning. I know he was a bit concerned, so he was up actually watching the Grand Prix. It's always good when you actually have things like that that you can tune into. We have a lot of movies on board, so that if we are up doing anchor watch or things like that where we need to be up through the night, you're still occupied and being able to keep awake, but you're able to watch our actual track on the navionics and also hear any abnormalities on board that are happening with the wind. He let me sleep, well, doze, and this is, as soon as he said to me, "What do you think about moving?" I bound out of bed. Yes, let's move. Haven't even finished my cup of coffee, but it was better than staying there another night. Certainly can't complain. This has been a beautiful stop and really well protected. The wind outside, right from Cairns all the way down to the Whitsundays, has really piped up this last week.
All secure.
And we're boogieing on out of here, Rob.
Well, I know you had a bad night, but the anchorage is not back.
No, the anchorage was good. No. But it was just the noises, wasn't it? That, you know, you'd hear that clunk and you go...
You know, we were getting gusts 27, 28 knots, I saw. And when you've got the tide rushing out this way and the wind coming that way, we were held beam on. It wasn't much chop, but it was just enough to slap, slap,
yeah,
slap,
the
slap.
slap noise under the stern was, and I sleep on the stern.
But we'll go up to Gay Under Creek. Opportunity and Belinda are up there. They said it's very, very nice.
Oh, you have contacted them this morning?
Not this morning, yesterday.
Yesterday.
I said we'd be popping up today. So I guess we may as well pop up
today.
A big passage, 6.7 nautical miles. As soon as we got the anchor down in Gay Under Creek, I was very keen to get a couple of crab pots in the water. Then we took the opportunity to do a little exploring while we had the dinghy down. There goes Roger. He's decided to take the opportunity to put his crab pot down too. Pun intended.
Oh, poor Rod, swimming lane. He's taking his chew toy out.
Yes, up in croc country they tend to call inflatables chew toys for obvious reasons, and we were feeling very superior having a aluminium dinghy until one of the locals said, with freeboard like that, we call that a lunchbox. Although the one thing we can be sure of, if a croc does bite it, at least it's not going to deflate and sink. We may both have heart attacks though.
Positive we would. Stunning though, isn't it? Even in the rain. Look at those mountains.
Yeah, one of the mountains claimed a B-24 bomber of the US Air Force in World War II. They'd taken off from Townsville and were heading north towards New Guinea, and in low cloud actually tragically flew straight into the side of the mountain. Nice overhangs here, love. We could be in flicking a lure looking for some fish.
I'm just going to remain in the middle of the boat, just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm keeping a lookout on the mud banks for any slide marks where crocs have slid down and into the water. But high tide just a few hours ago, well, that was underwater, so guess what? Unless they've done it in the last couple of hours, you're not going to see any slide marks. So the good news is the breeze has dropped right out.
Yeah.
The bad news is the breeze has dropped right out, so the bugs are going to be thicker.
And we anchor nice and close to the bank. So it figures it'd be nice to see some fishing on the back of the boat. But I really feel that we may have bugs galore tonight.
Yeah, I don't think an extra 5 or 10 metres was going to make much difference actually. Hey Karen, would you like to have a look at the fuel tank gauge for me?
Oh.
3/4 full. I already knew that. But
You did that perfectly.
I might have.
Oh, you're mean. Yeah, I don't want to paddle with our paddles anywhere. Not through here.
We even drifted along in the creek with a small pod of dolphins for a while, which was pretty cool. The wind's been blowing 25 and 30 knots on the other side of the island. You certainly wouldn't pick it here. Gay Under Creek providing us and our friends a very, very protected anchorage. Protected from the wind, protected from the swells, not protected from the mosquitoes, sandflies, midges, and any other bug you can imagine, or for that matter, crocodiles. We are in croc country.
There is one going into the water now. over here. We've just seen it go in the water.
I hope.
Right here. Went down where that tree is.
But when Karen spotted a reasonably sized crocodile sliding off the mud bank and into the water, it quickly convinced her it was time to get back on board our Dreamtime.
Rob heading out this morning just to check the first of the crab pots. We're not sure whether they're... Oh, it looks like it's crab country, doesn't it? But whether we get any... But right where he's pulling up is right where we saw a crocodile swimming along yesterday afternoon. It's just going for a lazy swim along the edge of the, the mangroves there. So just watch your arm, Rob.
All we got was a hungry little stingray.
Aww.
So we'll put him back.
Yeah, don't tell Rog that we got a stingray. He'll be wanting to eat it. What have we got, mate?
A couple of jennies.
Oh, a couple of jennies.
Well, one's definitely a jenny. I think the other one is too. I think the other one's for a rope.
Yeah, that one who's flipped over is definitely a jenny.
Yeah, that one's a jenny.
And got a couple of fish in there as well. And having a feast.
So they can certainly go back and breed up some more boys for us. Let go.
Both of you.
It was hanging on to the bait, wanted to take the bait with it.
Greedies. She's not letting go, is she? Hey, sweetheart, let go. We're giving you freedom.
Bonk! Well, no crab.
I think it's time to move on.
Yeah, I think so. Surely
Let's
there
go.
can't be more bugs at the next anchorage than there are here.
Certainly a lot of bugs here.
Bugger! A lot of mud on this one too. So
And if anyone actually wants to know how we save ourselves from bugs, there is...
I'm coated in baby oil.
Yeah, but
all the exposed skin.
we also have a blog.
Oh yeah, we do have a blog. Beating the Bugs.
Beating the Bugs Afloat.
Have a look at our Dreamtime sale blog. Just Google it. And we've got a contents page there with all sorts of how-tos. And we've got a rather extensive blog about bugs. Because if you go sailing in the tropics, you are going to come across bugs.
And everybody has different reactions to bugs, but also that means you also have a different reaction to the products that you use to get rid of the bugs or stop them from biting. So there are a number of them there that we've listed, so check it out.
And my favourite way of dealing with bugs, remove myself from the bugs area. Let's get these crab pots sorted.
It's quite literally everybody is bugging on out here, and it's certainly because of the bugs. It is a beautiful spot, but because we've got no wind at all, we are covered in them. Oh, thanks! You going up to Scraggy's?
Yes, yeah.
We'll see you up there then.
Hopefully away from the midges.
Yeah, I think so, huh?
Our move up to Scraggy Point did get us away from the bugs, but it's also a great stepping off point for our next day's trip up to Dunk Island. But first, it was time for some more exploring. Here at Scraggy Point, we'd read that there were some Aboriginal fish traps on the point, which date back to pre-colonial days. And we came in and haven't been able to get into them because the tide's just not quite right. We're be bouncing up against the rocks. We're not going to wade in this murky water because there are crocodiles here. But we can see the walls that are left, and literally still water inside one of them there. The way that works at high tide, of course, the fish come in. As the tide goes out, they are trapped in behind those rock walls. And then it's just a case of coming along and collecting your catch. And we can see a series of them right along the point back towards, well, what you'd call a beach, but at low tide it's very muddy on the approach, very shallow. Can't get in there in the dinghy, and as I say, we're not going to wade in this murky water. Not after the crocodiles we've seen in here in the Hinchinbrook Channel. Please don't think our references to crocodiles in this Hinchinbrook Channel area are being melodramatic. Tragically, not long after our visit to Gayunda Creek, a yachtsman was taken by a crocodile only metres from where we'd anchored.
A day after shooting a 4-metre crocodile off Hinchinbrook Island, authorities have killed a second 3-metre reptile in the same spot where 69-year-old Andy Hurd was taken last week.
As a result of locating and euthanising both those animals, human remains are being located.
The third croc attack in as many weeks. Local experts say there have been more than 170 reported croc sightings in the state in the past 6 weeks.